So Satish Dhawan took the whole blame on himself. The entire blame he took it on himself. In this age of science, only foolish people prefer to read old-fashioned books like the Bhagavad Gita. Thousands of people worked nearly for 10 years to make this happen. Welcome to the brand new episode of the Vishwas Mudagal Show. Today we're going to talk about certain exciting stories of the Indian space research and few of the legends of the Indian space program. The first story we're going to talk about is the Bhagavad Gita and Vikram Sarabhai story. Super exciting with a message. Do not miss this, which is going to come up right after this break. And the second story is going to be about Abdul Kalam and Satish Dhawan. So stay tuned and do not forget to like and subscribe our channels. Welcome back to the Vishwas Mudagal Show. Today we are talking about the Bhagavad Gita and the Vikram Sarabhai story. So here it goes. Once near the Trivandrum seashore, an elderly gentleman was reading the Bhagavad Gita. It's a very nice thick book and he was reading the Bhagavad Gita. And at that point in time, a young man came and took a seat next to him. And it was a breezy, sunny day, and then it was a seashore. And seeing the elderly man reading the religious book, the young man said, "In this age of science, only foolish people prefer to read old-fashioned books like the Bhagavad Gita. If you would have devoted some time to science, then by now it would have helped the country to scale great heights," the young man said to the elderly man. And the elderly gentleman seemed unmoved by this, and then he asked, after some time he asked, "Who are you and what do you do?" The elderly man asked the young gentleman who had come. The young man replied, "I am a science graduate from Kolkata. I have come to make a career in Baba Atomic Research Center," is what he said. The young man further said to the elderly to devote his attention to the scientific research, as by reading Bhagavad Gita he wouldn't be able to achieve anything. This is what he said. The elderly gentleman then smiled and then he rose to leave. And as soon as he got up, 4 security guards surrounded him, and then his driver brought him a red beacon fitted official car. Those ambassador cars that come, so that came with the siren and all of that, and then all the security guards, and they were all there escorting him. And seeing this, the young man panicked. The young man got up and he's like, "Who are you, sir?" He asked. "Who are you?" Basically, he wanted to know who this person is, that he has been speaking to for the last few minutes, and then looks like this guy's a big shot. And then the elderly man smiled, and then he said, "My name is Vikram Sarabhai, and I am the chairman of the Baba Atomic Research Center, where you're going to join right now." And then looking at this, the young gentleman actually apologized. And then by that time, he had to go, and then maybe I think Vikram Sarabhai left the scene. And this story leaves a very simple, basic principle for us to discuss. That is, do not react immediately, right? What ended up happening here is that the young man thinks that, okay, his knowledge is superior, and then he feels that, okay, that what he feels is what the world has to do. Okay, that's not how it actually works, right? So if you believe in something and you can practice something, it's your choice. But at the end of the day, what you do with that, how much you scale in your life, is basically about your attitude towards it. That's what really matters. And it doesn't matter what you believe in, but what matters is that how deeply that you're committed to your own work. So here Vikram Sarabhai had committed himself to a lifelong journey of the scientific research, and then he put India on the map, the global map of the whole the atomic and space research, right? So that's what really matters, right? So next time if somebody wants to come and pronounce a judgment on you, think about it, think twice about it, because it's not that always that what you see is what it is, right? So do not judge a book by its cover, and always wait to understand a person before you speak, right? That's very, very important. And but this is a fascinating story though, if you look at it. It's just a fun story too, and it tells that he was a very humble gentleman, Vikram Sarabhai. And if you have read or even seen him in the Rocket Boys, the series that came out on Sony Live, I think that was a super amazing series that you should take a look at. And I think Vikram Sarabhai has done a great deal of work for the country. But the bottom line here is that we should not be like this young gentleman. Do not pronounce judgments. Do not mock people because they are different, or something that they are doing which you don't believe in. Do not mock them. Okay, so that is the bottom line here. With this, do not forget to wait for the next the story that we're going to talk about. It's super exciting, the Abdul Kalam and the Satish Dhawan story. So it's going to come right after the break. This podcast is powered by GoodWorks Angel Fund. GoodWorks Angel Fund is India's leading early stage VC fund. And for all the entrepreneurs and startups out there, log on to goodworksvc.in for your funding requirements. Welcome back to the Vishwas Mudagal Show. Today we're going to talk about the Abdul Kalam and the Satish Dhawan story. These are some of the fascinating stories of the legends of the Indian space program and Indian scientific community. So, in the year 1979, the ISRO, that is the Indian Space Research Organization, was ready to launch the SLV program, that is the Satellite Launch Vehicle program. The project was headed by APG Abdul Kalam. SLV was intended to reach a height of 400 kilometers and with a payload of 40 kgs. Abdul Kalam says in one of his speech, he actually recites the whole story, and in his speech he says that I was the project director of that mission in 1979. I was the mission director. Thousands of people worked nearly for 10 years to make this happen, and when the countdown was going on, T-4, T-3, T-2, T-1, T-40 seconds, the computer suddenly started giving an alarm, and then it started giving a warning asking them to not to launch. And when Abdul Kalam and the team looked at, okay, what was the issue? The problem was there was some leakage in the system. But the scientists calculated, and they came back and assured Dr. Kalam that, hey, basically that there is enough fuel in the control system to function, and the computer warning is really not that critical. So you don't have to worry about it, and you can go ahead. That's what together all the scientists came and told Abdul Kalam. Then even though it was the experts who gave their opinion, it was Kalam's decision to make. He had to take the last decision. But he eventually decided to overrule the computer warning and to go ahead. In spite of the warning, he decided to go ahead. So, in his own words, Kalam says, I bypassed the computer and I launched this system. This fellow went. He talks about the satellite in a way. This fellow went. There are 4 stages before the satellite is launched. The first stage went off well, and the second stage, the satellite got mad. It went into a spin. Instead of putting the satellite in the orbit, it went into the Bay of Bengal. That's what dramatically Dr. Kalam says. 1979, it was a failure. I was very tired, having worked day and night for several months. At that point in time, a great man, a great leader, Professor Satish Dhawan, comes to me and says, come, let us go to a press conference. So by the end of the day, they had to do a press conference. Everybody was eagerly waiting to hear what went wrong. So Satish Dhawan, who was heading the whole ISRO at that point in time, he took him. And then Satish Dhawan spoke to the press. He said, "Dear friends, we have failed today. I want to support my technologists, my scientists, my staff, so that next year they succeed." So Satish Dhawan took the whole blame on himself. The entire blame he took it on himself. And the next year, the exact date is 18th July 1980. When they succeeded, Professor Dhawan came and told Kalam. He said, "Kalam, you go and conduct the press conference." So basically, you know what does this mean? This means that in failure, the leader took up all the blame. And in success, he gave the success to his team. This is one of the most important features of a leader that makes them worthy of the title. The leaders are nothing but heroes. They are humans, but they are heroes. This is one of the things that a true leader does. They give the credit to the team, and whenever there is a failure, they take the blame upon themselves. That is a hallmark of a true leader. So in your life, whenever you are trying to lead a team, lead a company, whatever you are trying to do, always understand that the blame has to be taken by the leader, because you are the single point of failure always. And in success, you need to reward the team, you need to recognize the team. Although it might be true that the team has screwed up here and there, it all matters, but it always is the leader. The leader has to lead by example. That is important, that the credit goes to the team. This is something that teaches us the style of leadership. This is a style of leadership that everybody has to focus on. That is when you will not be a manager, you will be a leader. You will not simply manage people, but you will inspire people to do great things. This is what Satish Dhawan taught us. This is what Abdul Kalam taught us through this story. And this is the kind of story that excites us, inspires us to do great things in our lives. And this is a story that has deeply moved me. I also saw these characters in the series, the Rocket Boys, a truly inspiring series for me. And with this, I would like to take a leave for this week, and we can come back again. We will come back again with another set of stories, another set of learnings, the next episodes of the Vishwas Mudagal Show. And do not forget to comment and to like our episodes on all the platforms. Tell us about how we felt, what you felt, and do not forget to like us. Do not forget to subscribe us on YouTube and all the podcast platforms out there. I'm on all the platforms. Write to me. I reply as much as I can to everybody, and I'm there to personally help you guys to navigate your career, personal lives. And I'm super excited to have this format continue to the next level. Okay, thank you so much, and see you next week. This podcast is powered by netskill.com. It's a platform where you can upskill yourself and go to the next level. So don't forget to log on to www.netskill.com.